it's called Winter Wonderland. You ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. The first snowflakes fell from the sky, dyeing the ground a pure white color. Frost crawled up the glass windows of their dorm room. America was sitting on his bed, covered with blankets, mindlessly watching the snowflakes fall one by one. He watched students from his translucent window. What are you doing?
Your door ain't shut.
What? Oh.
I hear the air.
Okay, now it's shut. Translucent window, playing around in the snow, basking in the new season. The door opened and a tall, familiar figure stepped in. He had gone out earlier and held traces of snow around his shoulders. Not going out and having fun? Nah, I prefer warmth. How about you take a walk with me while we talk? The Russian offered. America turned to face Russia. Talking to me? This is like taking me on a date, walking date, he joked. Russia scoffed. I figured since we were going to work together, might as well spend some time together. Besides, you've been cooped up in the dorm all through winter. This is a little bit of a time skip, honestly. He could tell America didn't like winter. Russia didn't know why. America noticed that Russia seemed quite eager for this walk. He also seemed quite eager for the change of season, quite the opposite of anyone to expect. After all, he is a dragon. The prince pressed his lips into a thin line and replied after great effort. Yeah, sure, it's a date then. He was eager, which isn't surprising, but at least he accepted in the end. Russia's face beamed with excitement as they made their way out of their dorms to get to the schoolyard. They'd have to pass the school lobby. In the lobby, they saw a familiar girl with pure white wings and a coat around her to keep herself warm. She also had a stack of papers in her arms. It seems Poland was about to leave to do some paper girl work. She waved at them and they waved back. Poland then hurried out the door but accidentally slammed into a window. Like a bird. She flushed with embarrassment as she clumsily gathered her papers. This time she didn't walk into a window. Reminds me of a bird. The wings and the not being able to see the glass thing. America shrugged and continued to walk towards the yard. Why don't you like winter? One of the reasons is extra work. Do you know frostbite? Russia scanned his memory. If you're referring to the how the fuck do you say it? I know what the word is, but how do you say it? Vigilante. Yeah, there it is. Vigilante frostbite. Then yes, I've heard some things here and there. America tilted his head as they walked. Frostbite is usually only active during winter season. We didn't know why until recently. The kingdom is speculating his weakness is that he melts in temperatures that are higher than -degrees, so he can't do anything but hide in cool places until winter comes around again, which equals more work for me during winter, and more summons from the king to take care of this vigilante. The prince finished off. Russia nonchalantly commented. I fucking hate that word. I think he's a good guy. He definitely is a good guy. Too bad the kingdom wants his head. His ability is related to ice and snow as well. Quite powerful. Even I haven't captured him. They had reached the yard. A gust of cold wind pricked America's skin, and cold fog already formed in their faces with every breath they took. Want to check up on North and South? America offered to Russia. To get to the training hall, where South and North are right now, they'd have to walk there through the yard. The prince thought, might as well while they were at it. Sure, Russia accepted. In the training hall, they met up with each other. South and North took heavy breaths in exhaustion. The two of them were quite diligent with their training, waking up at the crack of dawn to come here and train even on the weekends. What are you two doing here? North raised an eyebrow as he drank a bottle of water. Just checking up. Don't overwork. The tournament's in 2 days. Wouldn't want you getting sick. The American smirked at them. North just rolled his eyes and pulled south over to training him. The prince noticed their abilities are getting better. I guess hard work does pay off. If you're not here to train, get lost, the North Korean man snapped. He really didn't want to listen to America's snarky remarks right now. What was the reason for us joining the tournament? You don't seem like you're interested in extra points, Russia narrowed his emerald eyes. Tournaments are the event where I can scope out the talented people to recruit. That's why we're joining. America pat Russia on the shoulder on his way out of the training hall. Russia followed along outside soon enough. Now time for me to ask you questions. Why do you like winter so much? Snow slowly fell on America's shoulders, to which he dusted them off. Russia shrugged without much of a thought. Just because I'm weak to it doesn't mean I can't like it. In fact, I love winter. The Russian bent down and rolled up a snowball. He weighed it in his hands and then threw it at the prince in his face. The snowball slowly slid down America's face onto the floor, leaving his face feeling numb from the cold. I had a cough. So it's like, yes, it was a very squeaky cough, but it was a cough. Russia was surprisingly good at maneuvering in winter. Actually, he's really good. You're really fucking good at fighting during winter. Why is that? The prince was hit by another in the face just as he finished his sentence. I always liked winter. I knew it wasn't favorable for me, so I trained super hard, and now I'm actually better in combat during winter. The snowball nearly missed the dragon's face. He rolled up another and threw it. After a good round of beating, America surrendered. Stop, I give up. Have mercy on my poor soul. The prince gave puppy eyes, to which Russia couldn't help but shiver. Fine. At least now I know I'm better than you when fighting in winter. In your dreams. I haven't used my ability yet. If I did, I would have won. The shorter male collapsed onto the snow which cushioned his fall. The prince turned his head to the side to see a fairly big pond that had frozen over. There was a large tree hovering above it. Russia, how are you with your ice skating skills? America sat up immediately after. God, I haven't done ice skating in years. The skates are super expensive. I could never afford one myself. I remember doing it as a kid. Really fun times. The prince faced his back to Russia and fiddled around for a while. The Russian stared at him like a weirdo. The hell is he doing this time? America turned back and presented something to Russia like a hand-wrapped gift. No need to thank me. Come on, let's skate. When he presented were a pair of ice skates that seemed to be quite high quality. Where did you get this? A magician never really reveals their secrets. America placed 2 fingers on his lips and smirked. It seemed like America didn't want to say. Russia didn't ask either. He followed the prince to the pond without complaint and put on his shoes. The first step he took on the ice was wobbly, but he hadn't done this in years. He was probably really rusty by now. He still hadn't gotten used to it yet when America started circling around him with his hands behind his back. You're gonna fall. Come on, take a step forward. Are you scared that the ice will break? It's surprisingly thin. What if someone sees you struggling like this? That would be embarrassing. The prince teased. He circled around and around, occasionally poking him with his skates in an attempt to trip him. Russia grit his teeth in annoyance as he grabbed him by the collar, stopping him in his spot. The ice started cracking. The two of them lost balance and fell right onto the thin ice. It cracked under their weight, and they plunged into the freezing cold water. It's kind of America's fault, though, honestly. Both could feel the cold water enveloping them in a chilling way. After a few seconds, America managed to grab onto something and pull himself up. He heaved for air, but all he could feel was numbness everywhere in the cold. The prince glanced back to the hole in the ice where he saw Russia trying to heave himself up as well, but it seemed he started to weaken because of the excessive cold. America extended his hand and grabbed him by the wrist, pulling him up with great effort. The dragon had all his features out: wings, claws, tails, and horns. It's sort of fight or flight response in threatening situations for dragons. The two of them collapsed onto the snow, both their laughters piercing through the air. They laughed for a long time together. They didn't even know why they were laughing. This is one of the moments where the two of them weren't at each other's throats. They seemed to like normal students for once, despite their whole current situation with planning whole revolution. They both turned their heads towards each other and grinned like idiots. Right now, they didn't even think or felt anything. All they saw was each other. Russia felt hooked on this giddy feeling, and he was having at this moment. Smile more. It increases your face value. America's face was tinted with a slight pink due to the cold winter air. The Russian narrowed his eyes. Fuck off. He swung his arm, sending some of the snow splashing onto America. Let's head back before we catch a cold. America sat up, running his hand through his dripping wet hair. Right at that moment, Russia felt throbbing was tight and a fluttering of butterflies in his stomach. Russia chuckled as he sat up as well. You won't catch a cold. Idiots don't catch colds. His eyes trailed downwards as he added, Get a coat or something. You're dripping wet and wearing white. America's eyes also looked down. You pay attention to the weirdest things about me. Okay. A figure watched them from afar through the window. They watched without a reaction. They didn't hear their interactions, but they could tell they were messing around. I wish I was a blue dragon like you, so I don't have to worry about the colds. They sighed as their red tail shifted to the side and took a sip of their hot drink. Very cute. Yeah, that's the end of the story. Oh, also, there's a random picture of Holy See. Not really, I just read fast. There's a picture of Russia burning a wanted poster of himself. It's all very nice art. They are very talented. Any questions? I don't think that was really a related story or anything. I guess it was just something they wanted to do.
Become closer friends.
Yeah, becoming closer friends. Anyway, probably I just end it here then.